Right, so could Max Holloway potentially be the next opponent for Conor McGregor's UFC return? I guess we'll try and find that out in today's video. And also, I'm going to give an early prediction and breakdown on who I believe would win that rematch if it were to potentially happen next in 2022 when Conor McGregor is done healing up from his injuries. But let's start straight away with why I'm making this video, because there's been some rumors circulating around the MMA world recently that maybe Max Holloway could be the next opponent for Conor McGregor when he does make his return, because Conor McGregor recently responded to a Twitter post from MMA journalist Sean Sheehan, which is a very annoying name to say, who asked his followers to reply with their most recent MMA picture saved to their phones, and Conor posted back an image from his fight with Holloway, and that's why this whole thing started. Max Holloway then responded to that tweet that Conor McGregor posted saying, "Phone call, we got it, jackpot, March," apparently. So, this caused a lot of confusion for me because I thought if Holloway beat Yair Rodriguez, who, by the way, he does have to get through in order for this fight to happen. And I don't want to overlook Yair Rodriguez because I know he gets a lot of disrespect because of him avoiding drug tests and some of his attitude problems that he's had in his career, but he could be one switch kick away from folding Holloway up like a lawn chair in the middle of that octagon. So I want to focus on Holloway versus Rodriguez. I do believe Holloway will beat Yair Rodriguez, though I think he'll get a TKO in the later rounds. However, phone call, we got it, jackpot, March. We know they've been in conversation for a matchup to happen before. He tagged Conor McGregor in this post. I feel like this could be a potential matchup because Conor McGregor, he's going to see Max Holloway as a guy he's already beaten, so he's going to have a bit of a power advantage over Max Holloway, not just in terms of raw power in his hands, but also at a press conference. Max Holloway's not going to be a guy who could completely embarrass him in a press conference and say that he's going to destroy him, because Conor McGregor always has that in his back pocket, that he beat Max Holloway early in their careers, and he can always just go to the phrase that I beat you before, I whooped you over 3 rounds with a bad leg. So I feel like Conor McGregor's looking at that matchup. It's a big name in Max Holloway. A lot of people actually consider Max Holloway, rightfully or wrongfully, I don't believe this is rightfully done, but a lot of MMA fans consider Max Holloway the best 145-pounder in the world, more worthy of a championship belt in the 145-pound division than Alexander Volkanovski. So for Conor McGregor, in the eyes of the casual fan that actually believe Holloway won both of those Volkanovski fights, maybe the second fight as well, he's going to look at those and think, right, I could get like the equivalent of a world title here at 145 if I take out Max Holloway, easier than Alexander Volkanovski did, because those fights were close between Holloway and Volkanovski. So if McGregor finishes Holloway, he gets a ton of respect. Holloway's in his prime right now. He'll be coming fresh off a win against Yair Rodriguez, another top contender. He's looking amazing. McGregor's beaten before. And also, I guess this won't be happening at 145 if it does happen. However, if McGregor takes this up to 155, he could have a chance. If he takes it to 170, which I believe is his only chance of beating Max Holloway, then maybe he has a chance. Other than that, at 145 and 155, Max Holloway is going to beat Conor McGregor by TKO. And I'm just going to get into my prediction right now. Max Holloway beats Conor McGregor by TKO here. Enough of the reasons why McGregor might want this matchup. I don't think it's a smart matchup for Conor McGregor. You've got a guy who's basically known for not being KO'd in the lower weight classes. In Max Holloway, he's not going to get KO'd. I don't think he's ever been dropped in the UFC. Maybe. Even against Conor McGregor, he didn't get dropped. I believe he even dropped McGregor with like a semi-blocked head kick in the 3rd round when McGregor had a bad leg, of course. But still, he's never been dropped in his entire career. He got cracked badly by Dustin Poirier, but he survived those moments. He stayed on his feet. He fired back. He came back in the later rounds. Didn't quite do enough and lost that rematch to Poirier as well. But Max Holloway is a guy who's known for not getting KO'd early. He's known for great cardio. He's known for great volume. He puts pressure on you. He doesn't let you have space, really. He's got really good boxing. I understand that McGregor is looking at this as a stand-up matchup, and if you're looking for a stand-up fighter, that's what McGregor's going to be looking for in his career. He wants that stand-up guy that's not going to shoot takedowns on him, and even better if you can get a guy like Max Holloway, who's more of a boxer as well, that's going to go out there and box with him a little bit more because he's the best boxer in the UFC, baby, and that would give Conor McGregor a chance to get that title back and then maybe go on to have some other boxing matches in the future. If you can take out the best boxer in the UFC, baby, and then win that, and call yourself the best boxer in the UFC as well, even though Poirier's beat both of you recently, by boxing as well. If you can win that one, you can then have so much power back. I just don't think this is a good matchup for him, man. I think Max Holloway would TKO him at 145, at 155. I don't think there's a chance here unless McGregor orders this bout at 170 pounds. Maybe, just maybe, if McGregor could get a flabby, fucking chubby Max Holloway to show up at 170, and he could show up in peak shape, as big as he possibly can be, in the 170 pound division, not cutting too much weight on that division as well, because he doesn't really cut too much to go to 155, so I'm assuming the 170 pound cut is virtually non-existent for McGregor, and he's shown more power at 170 as well in his career, especially against Donald Cerrone, but I know, of course, it's Donald Cerrone. He's had a lot of losses recently. Alex Morono just beat Donald Cerrone, so that win for McGregor doesn't look as good. But either way, if he feels as though he's the most powerful at 170 pounds, the only way I see him beating Holloway is to see him beat Yair Rodriguez, and immediately, by the way, immediately try and get him turned around to an 170 pound weight class. You know why? In March, between the dates of November and March, Holloway can't build himself into a big enough guy to be like a real threat in the 170 pound division. He's a big guy, don't get me wrong. He's a tall guy. He doesn't have a crazy long reach for the division either, but he's a tall guy, so he could naturally, frame-wise, build into the 155 pound division, maybe at a push 170, but I don't think so. But on short notice, essentially, in like a 3-month period, just after Christmas and New Year's as well, for a guy like Holloway, who hangs around with his son and his wife and he has a good time, he's going to get a little bit chubby over the holidays. He's not going to be in peak shape, and he's not going to be able to build himself into a proper 170 pounder. And I think that would lead to maybe McGregor being able to get a KO early on. I don't see it happening at any other division, and I even question it happening at 170 pounds. I'm just saying, that's the only chance McGregor has, in my opinion. He's not going to be the same. He doesn't look the same way. He looks soft. He's definitely not training as hard. I would have loved to have seen McGregor now that he can walk around hitting a heavy bag or something and posting that kind of stuff. But no, he's fighting fucking Demetrius Johnson or something in Italy. Credit though, he's one of the GOATs, but still, you shouldn't be punching him in an Italian fucking disco, wherever you were at. Club, sorry, disco, what the fuck? I'm not fucking 60. In a club, he's doing crazy stuff all around the world. Like, why aren't you hitting a heavy bag right now? You've just got your ability to walk around and clearly dance in a club back and have a fight on the street back. So why not channel that ability to be able to actually do something and be mobile into training in a gym for your comeback fight? I don't like McGregor's mindset right now. I don't think he beats Holloway in a rematch. I think it's a terrible matchup for him at 155 or 145. 145, don't even fucking bring it up. McGregor's not making 145 after all the alcohol and drugs that he's done over the past few years. I understand maybe he hasn't done cocaine. I'm not going to say bulletproof confidence. I'm not going to say with bulletproof confidence that McGregor has done a bunch of different drugs. But McGregor's done a bunch of different drugs, okay? I don't think he's going to be able to have a lean, clean, mean McGregor that was making 145 years ago. I think he's going to try and make it at 155 maybe, but at 170, who knows? But I don't see him win this one, man. Holloway's going to win this one. And also, let's talk about the reason why I don't fucking want this matchup to be made. Doesn't make any fucking sense. If you're McGregor, you've beat this guy, you hold a win over him, why have a chance at losing? Now, I guess it opens up the obvious ability to have a trilogy if he does lose. This was the same situation in a Dustin Poirier fight. He loses, well, it's 1-1. We're still 1-1 going into the trilogy. Let's have a trilogy. And then that doesn't work out because he breaks his fucking leg in the first round. Unfortunate, I know. But maybe there's a chance here that he's thinking, if I lose to Holloway, maybe I'll get a trilogy. But I don't even like that that's the mindset maybe he could have, because that's not the mindset of a McGregor. Oh, if I lose, I could try and get back in there and maybe I'll win the next one. Like, I want Holloway versus Volkanovski 3. Okay? If Holloway beats Yair Rodriguez, I want him to take on Alexander Volkanovski. Volkanovski just had a coming out party against Brian Ortega. Everyone kind of respects him now more than they did before. I respected him the whole time because I thought he won both Holloway fights. But people have now, the casual fans, have started going, you know what? This guy's a fucking real champ. We respect Volkanovski. We respect Max Holloway as levels apart from them and the rest of the division. I feel like Holloway and Volkanovski need to have that trilogy at 145. Stop interrupting in other fucking divisions. Stick to your own one at 155. Fight fucking Tony Ferguson. You were just calling him out last week. What the fuck's going on? How is this? Oh, I want to fight Tony Ferguson last week. Oh, you know what? Holloway this week. How can it change that much? Plus, he's fighting Yair Rodriguez. Tony Ferguson has no one right now. Nate Diaz has no one right now. So many good fighters that you could take on have no one. You could fucking call out Beneil Dariush and get immediately into the top 3 if you win. And fucking Alexander Hernandez can KO Beneil Dariush in the first round. And he beat like Scott Holtzman and stuff. Like he's beat good opponents, don't get me wrong, Beneil. But that's a winnable matchup for Conor McGregor on a comeback, I tell you. So, stop calling out dumb fucking 145-pound matchups that we know aren't going to happen. He didn't even call him out though. But maybe if he... But if Holloway said that he called his management and said we're good for March, then he did call him out and he's getting in touch. Stop! Put the fucking phone down, okay? Handle your fucking charges that you got against you right now and your court cases. And let's get back to work against a 155-pounder, Tony Ferguson, Beneil Dariush, or Rafael Dos Anjos, or who else is there? Chandler said he's going to call out Conor McGregor if he beats Justin Gaethje. Wait for these matchups. You could get yourself right back into title contention. I mean, honestly, if you KO Beneil Dariush in the first round, I know people will complain if he does get a title shot after that, but he will be top 3 in the world, top 4 in the world, so it won't be, like, crazy to give him a title shot, especially if there's no other clear-cut contender at the time, and maybe the winner of Gaethje versus Chandler or Makhachev versus Hooker fight each other, and the timelines don't quite work out, and Oliveira beats Poirier, and he wants to stay active, whilst they're still trying to book the Makhachev versus Hooker winner against the winner of Gaethje Chandler or something, and then McGregor can just slide in, who knows. Let's make McGregor versus Dariush, or any of the matchups I've listed at 155. Give me Tony Ferguson. Imagine the fucking press conferences of Conor McGregor versus Tony Ferguson. Absolute madness will ensue, okay? Absolute craziness from both sides will happen, and I want it to happen, okay? So let's stick to logical matchups. Even at 170, the Nate Diaz trilogy, I don't mind the idea of it. To be honest, I'm not really that interested in that one. I want to see McGregor fight a top 10 guy. I know there's a lot of Nate Diaz fans, but he's not good and he's not ranked in any division, 170 or 155, any of the divisions that he's competed in. So, let's stop talking about fighting him because he's not fucking ranked anywhere. Let's get a ranked opponent and let's work our way back up and then we can talk about some stuff because ideally, and I know people want McGregor to fail, but as a content creator, there is a bias within me that wants him to succeed because I know no one fucking brings the numbers to my channel like a Conor McGregor fight week. Like, it's just a different buzz. People say Israel Adesanya's a star. He's selling 600k fucking pay-per-views with Nate Diaz on the card. You know what I mean? Like, it's... I respect that Israel Adesanya's a big name and he's a star compared to the current champions we have. I get that. But, like... We got champions right now. I don't know any of them that are going to break 800,000 pay-per-view buys. McGregor will do a consistent over 1.5 million buys. And with a big matchup like Holloway, a big matchup like Ferguson, you get all the people on the rest of the card that are going to get a chance to shine. Of course, Taito Ivasa, I feel like a star was reborn in that night at UFC 264 where he got that win over Greg Hardy. I believe it was anyway. I'll go back and check it right now. But you've got to admit, when McGregor fights, it really does benefit the UFC. I'm going back to 264 right now to try and find out who else is on that card because a lot of stars were made. Gilbert Burns wasn't made a star that night, but Sean O'Malley fought Chris Matinho. I feel like that took him to another level in his career as well because of being on a McGregor card. I mean, it just creates all of these branch-off successes. Irene Aldana got a big KO in the first round, you know, like Mikel Pereira had a fight with Nico Price. Ilya Topuria upset Ryan Hall and put himself on the map. Dricus du Plessis put himself on the map with a big KO win against Trevin Giles. It just brings a different level of attention. I want him in the sport, but I want him in the sport against matchups to make fucking sense. Stop interfering at 145 because you know you can get a trilogy if you lose. Let's do Holloway versus Volk if he beats Yair. And everyone shut the fuck up. Jesus. Right now, at lightweight, this is what it should be. Hooker versus Makhachev winner versus the winner of Gaethje versus Dariush. Fucking someone versus Beneil... No, sorry. The winner of Gaethje versus Chandler versus the winner of Hooker versus Makhachev. That should be made for a title elimination bout for sure, in my opinion. Then, Beneil Dariush fights Conor McGregor. If Beneil Dariush wins, he can sit out for a little bit longer and get himself a guaranteed title shot, maybe a bit later on after we've given the winner of, like, Makhachev, let's just say, if whoever wins that I think is going to win, let's say Gaethje and Makhachev, they have a matchup, they get a title shot. Dariush waits out on the sideline if he beats McGregor, but if McGregor beats Dariush, you can do him versus anyone in the meantime. If he wants to stay active, he can. If Poirier loses to Oliveira or Oliveira loses to Poirier, he can take on the loser of that matchup, preferably maybe Poirier in a quadrilogy bout for a big money pay-per-view with a lot of bad blood there. Who knows? I don't know, just fucking shut up calling out 45ers. It's not going to fucking happen, is it? Let's be real. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. Holloway destroys McGregor. He does. In any weight class. The cardio will be too much. He'll swarm McGregor in the later rounds and he'll finish him, and you know he will. You know he will. It's not a good matchup for McGregor. If he does get tagged in that matchup and there is a momentum swing, I don't see him getting the chances that he got against Nate Diaz, because Nate Diaz, although he's a pressure fighter, he's not got the educated pressure that a guy like Max Holloway has, where he's unloading combinations to the head and body with great, precise technique. Nate kind of smothers his work a little bit, you know. He gives you some chances to clinch up with him. Holloway stays at range, spinning back kick to the body against the cage. He'll throw some elbows in there as well, a couple of body shots, followed by a 1-1-2 to the head. I think Holloway would destroy McGregor 145, 155, 170. He's got a chance. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. Toodle pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye.